My name is Victoria Ashford. I'm 29 years old. And if someone had told me that canceling my wedding would eventually become the best financial decision of my life, I would have laughed in their face. I was supposed to marry my boyfriend, Ethan Montgomery, 27. That June. We'd been together for 4 years, and engaged for a long time. I truly believed we were building a future together. Everything seemed normal until February. Ethan attended his friend Caroline's extravagant wedding and came home like a completely different person. Our original wedding budget had been $25,000. I had saved $15,000 over several years. And my parents contributed another $10,000 as their gift. It wasn't flashy, but it was enough for a beautiful ceremony with close family and friends. That had been our plan, until suddenly, according to Ethan, our wedding became embarrassing. Victoria, we need to talk, he said one evening. I was putting together a bookshelf and barely looked up. What about Caroline's wedding cost $70,000? It was incredible. The flowers alone cost $8,000. I blinked. Our entire flower budget is $1,500. Exactly, he said. People compare these things. Who compares flowers? My friends. My coworkers. Your family. My family couldn't care less. He sighed dramatically. That's because they don't understand class. Something about the way he said it made my stomach tighten. Then came the sentence that changed everything. We need to double the budget. Minimum. I actually stopped working. Double. To $50,000. He nodded casually. You could take out a loan. Or maybe ask your sister. She just bought that new house. My sister worked 80-hour weeks for years for that house. He rolled his eyes. You're missing the point. No. Ethan. I think you're missing the point. He crossed his arms. Do you know what average weddings cost now? I don't care. Well, I do. The conversation quickly turned ugly. According to him, $25,000 meant I valued him below average. According to me, $50,000 for one day was insanity. Then he stood up and delivered his ultimatum. If you can't afford the wedding I deserve, then maybe we shouldn't get married. I stared at him. Really stared. This wasn't about love anymore. It wasn't about us. It was about competing with people on social media. About impressing strangers. About proving something. And in that moment, I suddenly saw a future I didn't want. I nodded slowly. You're right. He frowned. What? The wedding is off. His expression changed instantly. Victoria. Don't be dramatic. I'm agreeing with you. You know, I didn't mean literally. But I do. He burst into tears. Not sad tears. Angry tears. So you're throwing away 4 years. I looked at him quietly. No. Ethan. You are? He stormed out and immediately drove to his mother, Gloria Montgomery's house. Within an hour, my phone exploded. Gloria called first. What have you done to my son? Then his sister Vanessa texted, seriously, you're canceling the wedding over money, cheap. Then Caroline joined in. Ethan deserves better. I turned off my phone. And maybe out of heartbreak, maybe out of anger, maybe out of pure spite, I opened my laptop, logged into my investment account, and invested the entire wedding fund into Bitcoin. $25,000. Every cent. My best friend Amber nearly had a heart attack when I told her, Victoria, you're insane. Probably, but I had nothing left to lose. 3 days later, Ethan returned, not alone. Gloria came with him. Neither asked permission before walking into my apartment. We need to discuss this, like adults. Gloria announced. Nothing to discuss. I replied. Ethan didn't end anything. She snapped. He made a reasonable request. Going into debt for a party isn't reasonable. Ethan suddenly pulled out his phone. I already told everyone we're postponing until you improve your finances. I almost laughed. No. We're canceling completely. His face went pale. You can't be serious. I am. And where am I supposed to go? He asked. I stared. We're not engaged anymore. I can't afford rent alone. I shrugged. You should have thought about that before issuing ultimatums. Gloria exploded. You ungrateful little witch. What exactly did Ethan contribute? I asked calmly. Excuse me. He paid half the rent occasionally when he wasn't spending money on CrossFit memberships and expensive supplements. Ethan looked horrified. Gloria threatened lawsuits, emotional damages, humiliation, everything imaginable. Eventually they left, but I noticed something strange. As Ethan walked away, he wasn't looking angry, he was looking frightened. At the time, I thought he was scared of losing me. I didn't realize he was terrified of losing the lifestyle he thought marriage would guarantee. And that was only the beginning. A few weeks later, Bitcoin climbed. My $25,000 was suddenly worth a little over $31,000. Not life-changing, but satisfying. I told only Amber. Unfortunately, silence was never Ethan's talent. He started posting old photos of us with captions like, "Sometimes love isn't enough when someone chooses money over happiness." His friends flooded the comments. Know your worth. King. She was financially controlling. You dodged a bullet. Then, Ethan started dating Nadia Price. Nadia was a fitness influencer who looked like she believed protein powder counted as a personality. Ethan posted them constantly. Nadia on his shoulders, Nadia kissing his cheek, Nadia at expensive restaurants with captions like, "Upgrade kind of love." I said nothing. Then, Rosewood Gardens called, "Ms. Ashford." Patricia from the venue said carefully, "There's an issue with your deposit." What issue? Mr. Montgomery called saying the wedding is still happening. He wants to move the date and transfer the booking. To whom? There was a pause. To himself and a Miss Nadia Price. I closed my eyes. Of course, I told Patricia we were no longer together and requested the refund to my card. Then she lowered her voice. He's actually been banned from the property. Apparently Ethan had shown up, demanded they transfer everything, yelled at the staff, and threatened bad reviews when they refused. The $3,000 deposit was refunded immediately, but Ethan wasn't finished. He began telling people I had stolen his wedding money. He claimed he had contributed equally. He had contributed exactly nothing. Then came Nadia. She confronted me at my gym. I was on the treadmill when she appeared beside me. You're Victoria. Unfortunately, I'm Nadia, Ethan's girlfriend. Congratulations. You need to give him back his money. I stopped the treadmill. What money? The wedding fund. He says you stole $30,000 from him. I laughed before I could stop myself. 30? It was 25. And it was mine. Don't play games. Show me one receipt. One bank transfer. One piece of evidence Ethan contributed. And I'll pay him every cent. She stared at me. Nothing. A staff member noticed the tension and stepped over. Everything okay here? I smiled politely. This woman is harassing me over money her boyfriend pretended to have. Nadia was escorted out. Banned from that gym too. Ethan was collecting disasters like trophies. Then Bitcoin dropped. My investment fell below $20,000. Amber asked if I was panicking. No, I said, but honestly, a small part of me was. Still, I held. Around the same time, Ethan and Nadia imploded. Turns out Nadia had several private coaching clients. Very private, very shirtless. Ethan showed up at my apartment at 11 on a Wednesday night. Drunk and crying. Victoria, I know you're in there. I didn't open the door. I called the police and said my ex was outside intoxicated, and I was concerned for his safety. They took him back to Gloria's house. Not before he threw up in my building lobby. My manager sent me the cleaning invoice. The next morning, Gloria called from an unknown number. You called the police on my son. He was drunk and trespassing. He was trying to apologize. At 11 p.m. Screaming in my hallway. You ruined his life. Nadia cheated on him. Silence. Then she hissed. He needed closure. He got closure when he ended our engagement over a flower budget. Gloria's next move was calling my mother. Huge mistake. My mother Diane Ashford. Is not a woman people survive easily. Former Army nurse, current queen of consequences. She called me that afternoon. Gloria spent 40 minutes crying about how you're destroying Ethan. What did you say? I told her Ethan made his choice. That's it. Then she called me bitter. Isaihu. Mom. Too late. I sent her husband Harold screenshots of everything. Harold Montgomery had apparently been traveling for work and believed the wedding was merely postponed. He had no idea Gloria and Ethan had been harassing me online. And Harold, unlike the rest of them, still had a functioning, moral compass. 2 days later, the posts stopped. For a week, everything went quiet. That silence should have relieved me. Instead, it felt like the pause before glass shattered. About 6 months after the breakup, Bitcoin surged again. My original investment had more than doubled. I wasn't rich, but I was doing very well. I celebrated quietly with Amber over dinner. That should have been the end of the story. Instead, somehow, news spread. Amber later discovered exactly how. Her boyfriend had casually mentioned my investment success to someone at work. That person knew Caroline. Caroline immediately told Ethan, and suddenly my peaceful life exploded again. The first text came from an unknown number. Hey, Victoria. Heard your investment worked out. I'm really happy for you. Ethan. I ignored it. Then another. I've been doing a lot of therapy. Another. I know I was wrong. Another. I miss us. Then came the social media post. He uploaded old photos of us with a long emotional caption. Sometimes we don't realize what we have until it's gone. Victoria. You were right. I let material things blind me. I was foolish. I hope one day you'll forgive me. People loved it. Get your girl back. True love deserves a second chance. Men who admit mistakes are rare. I nearly threw my phone across the room. Then came the ambush. I had posted about needing groceries. Apparently, Ethan saw it. As I reached for cereal at Whole Foods, I heard his voice. Victoria. I turned. He stood there, wearing a button-down shirt, carrying flowers, looking like he'd walked out of a romantic comedy. What are the odds? He asked nervously. Pretty high. Considering you follow my social media? He laughed awkwardly. Okay. Fair. Why are you here? His eyes became emotional. Because I made the biggest mistake of my life. An older woman nearby immediately stopped pretending to inspect soup cans. Ethan noticed his audience. I was selfish. I know. I lost the best thing that ever happened to me. The best thing that ever happened to you suddenly became valuable after Bitcoin increased. His expression froze. Only for a second. But I caught it. I don't care about money. He whispered. Really? Really? Then you won't mind that I'm holding the investment long term. I don't. No. I just want you. I smiled politely. No thanks. I walked away. The older woman actually nodded at me approvingly. That night, someone knocked on my door. Harold stood there. Beside him was Gloria, and in Gloria's hands was a bottle of wine. We come in peace. Harold said with exhaustion written across his face. I stayed in the doorway. Gloria immediately launched into tears. Victoria. I made mistakes. I pushed Ethan toward all the wrong things. I filled his head with nonsense. It's all my fault. We're not getting back together. But you belong together. No. Harold suddenly interrupted. Stop lying. Gloria. She turned white. Harold, no. He looked directly at me. You deserve the truth. Something inside me tightened. They know about your investments. He said quietly. I frowned. So, Ethan's been talking to a friend whose girlfriend works in law. Gloria closed her eyes. Harold. Stop. He ignored her. They calculated that if they got you back, rushed into marriage, and eventually divorced, Ethan could potentially claim part of your assets. The world stopped. I looked at Gloria, then back at Harold, then at Gloria again. She couldn't even meet my eyes. You planned this, Victoria. It's not like that. Get out. Please listen. Get out. Harold grabbed her arm. I'm sorry, he said quietly. As they walked away, I heard Gloria crying, but I didn't feel sorry for her, because for the first time since the breakup, I truly understood something. Ethan had never returned because he loved me. He returned because he thought I'd become profitable. I blocked every number he used, changed my routines, and thought maybe the nightmare was finally over. I was wrong, because rejection didn't make Ethan disappear. It made him obsessed. After I blocked Ethan, things became strange. Then they became frightening. His sister Vanessa reached out privately. Victoria. I'm sorry. Ethan's not okay. What do you mean? There was a long pause. He's driving past your apartment. My stomach dropped. He knows your schedule. He's convinced you're seeing someone new because you posted a picture with 2 plates on a restaurant table. The second plate belonged to Amber, but apparently reality no longer mattered. Vanessa continued. He's convinced the universe will bring you back together. That sentence alone made me install security cameras the next day. Good decision. 3 nights later, at nearly 3 a.m, one of the cameras captured Ethan standing outside my door. He slipped an envelope underneath. Inside was a 12-page letter. According to Ethan, we were soulmates. He had visited a psychic who charged him $300 and informed him we were twin flames destined to reunite. I stared at the pages in disbelief. Amber nearly choked laughing. I wish I were making this up. But it became less funny when Harold contacted me again. Be careful, he warned. I overheard Gloria and Ethan talking about your job. 2 days later, HR called me in. My heart nearly stopped. Victoria, my manager said carefully. We received a complaint. What kind of complaint? A former partner claims you've been harassing him. They showed me screenshots, fake screenshots, messages supposedly sent by me, threatening messages, manipulative messages I'd never written. Fortunately, HR checked the numbers immediately. None belonged to me. The complaint was dismissed, but everything was documented, and Ethan wasn't done. He contacted 2 of my former boyfriends through social media. Both men called me laughing. One of them, Ryan, sent screenshots showing Ethan offering money in exchange for stories that would make me look abusive. Ryan's reply made me laugh for the first time in days. Victoria's biggest crime was forcing me to watch documentaries every Friday night. Try somebody else. Eventually, the harassment stopped, not because Ethan suddenly matured, because his life collapsed. He started dating someone new. Rachel Bennett, 58 years old, a recently divorced dentist. Ethan met her while working temporary office jobs. Apparently Ethan lied about almost everything. He claimed he was 24, claimed he'd never been engaged, claimed he had a successful consulting career. Rachel fell for it. Gloria celebrated like she'd won the lottery. She constantly posted about Ethan finally finding a real provider. Then Rachel's daughter discovered Ethan's old social media accounts. Everything. The wedding drama, the public attacks, the obsession, the fake victim posts. She hired an investigator. The truth exploded. Rachel dumped Ethan at Olive Garden during dinner, according to our mutual friend Amy, who happened to be their server. Ethan completely lost control. Breadsticks flew. Literally, he got banned from Olive Garden. The story became legendary among our friends. Not long afterward, Gloria called me one last time. I hope you're happy. She snapped. You ruined my son's life. I laughed softly. Gloria, I haven't spoken to Ethan in months. He has nothing now. He had love once. Silence. Then she whispered bitterly. If you just married him, he would have divorced me for money. Harold told me everything. Another silence. Then she hung up. That was the last time I ever heard her voice. Meanwhile, Harold filed for counseling with Gloria. Vanessa stopped speaking to most of the family, and Ethan moved back home, permanently. As for me, I sold part of my Bitcoin position, paid off my car, invested the rest sensibly. Exactly the boring way my father taught me. A year later, I met someone unexpected. His name was Daniel Hayes, a software engineer. Kind Funny, completely unimpressed by expensive weddings. On our third date, he told me, honestly, I'd rather spend money traveling than feeding 100 distant relatives. I almost laughed, because after everything I'd survived, those words sounded romantic. My mother still sends Christmas cards, and one year, she accidentally sent Gloria a picture of Daniel and me smiling in front of the Grand Canyon. Accidentally. At least that's what she claims. Harold and I still occasionally meet for coffee. He's a good man, who spent too many years trapped in chaos. Sometimes he shakes his head and says, I'm secretly proud you never gave in. And honestly, so am I. Because Ethan taught me something priceless. When someone shows you they value appearances over loyalty, believe them. When someone chooses status over love, let them go. And when someone mistakes your kindness for weakness, you've never reward them for it. Last I heard, Ethan still checks my social media. So if you're reading this, Ethan, I hope you finally learned something, because I certainly did.